So today we have to be much more professional. Do you remember? We had a conversation with a fan.
It's been said, yeah.
We actually got a fan. I couldn't believe it for one. Kind of forget people can actually listen to this.
It was very strange. We were told it's got to be more professional. The background's got to be nicer. You have to be quicker.
We've got to make more clips. We need to, yeah. We're going to become a much more professional outfit. No more losing episodes, even if we do find them weeks later.
It was a particularly a lot amount of feed forward and not a tremendous amount of feedback.
I don't know the difference, but yeah,
sure. I know, like feedback is like, well, sometimes like when feedback is stuff you did well, feed forward is all the stuff you need to do next time.
Oh, so, right, okay. I've never heard the term.
Like 2 stars and a wish or something. You ever done that in school?
I know the criticism sandwich.
Yeah, it's the same thing, isn't it? Like thing? 2 bits of criticism and then.
Yeah. A bit
more wait, no. 2 stars and a wish is 2 good things and 1 bad thing.
Yeah.
But criticism.
The criticism sandwich is the bread's the good bit in my criticism.
Oh
sandwich.
right. Okay.
Our criticism sandwich was like a Scooby-Doo sandwich this time.
Yeah, a lot of meat. Pause. Not a tremendous amount of bread.
So we're gonna get professional. We're gonna get it together today. I've got a notepad with me.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be writing down the stuff we actually say, so we can do it at the end.
Circle back round.
And we'll circle back round. What are we actually talking about today, Judo? Introduce the episode.
We are, as teased last week, we're going to be talking about how to fix the MCU. A very, I guess, presumptuous title for 2 blokes sat on a microphone, not working at Disney.
What we also spoke about last week is that clearly someone in Hollywood's stealing all our ideas. So,
well, we are onto something. Thing is, James Gunn might take this and then give it back to Kevin Feige. And then we're losing out on more millions. Millions and millions.
We're giving this to you guys for free. We'd be rich right now.
You can email this to Kevin Feige yourself if you're one of the 11 listeners we got last week. Yeah, it was good. It was career high.
There's a couple double-digit videos.
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised.
So there's at least 10 people who could steal this idea and make money off it.
So now we know we have listeners. Welcome back to Super Podcast Bros. Is the name still pending, or are we sticking with that?
I don't know. We haven't really brainstormed anything new, have we? So
welcome back to Super Podcast Bros. Today we are fixing the MCU. We've kind of spoken about through previous episodes how the MCU might be losing its way a little bit. And I thought, actually, do you know what? Let's quickly go through where we think where the MCU is at, where we think it's going wrong, and what we're going to do to fix it. So,
the MCU, that's the problem.
Oh no!
Too many women, superheroes,
girls.
It's too unrealistic, mate.
No, it's all got woke.
No.
Right. So, I've split in my mind. I have split the MCU pre-Endgame, post-Endgame. Okay. So let's see the 4 or 5 movies prior to Endgame. You ready? All right.
Yeah. I was just thinking, the movies leading up to Endgame, I don't remember being that good.
Well, Black Panther grossed over $1 billion.
Fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes score 96%.
Virtue signaling that is, mate.
We're going deep. Wokeness is what's killing it, right? 96% Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah.
Not my favourite superhero movie, but it's not half bad. Oh, you're going to be upset with this one.
What's this?
Captain Marvel. And to be fair, it looks like the rest of the world was pretty upset with this one as well. Also, I didn't like it that much, but I don't want to be on that side of the argument. That also grossed over $1 billion worldwide. And that was a Rotten Tomatoes score of 79%.
I maintain that if Captain Marvel had come out like 4 years before,
yeah,
because it's just all the origin movies are not good apart from like Shang-Chi. Like Doctor Strange is mid as well. Iron Man doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
Thor 1 not.
Well, We'll come to that
All right.
because there's another origin movie that I think is actually quite good
Oh.
in this group. But I agree with you. Captain Marvel came out between Infinity War and Endgame, didn't it? So it felt a little bit tacked on.
Yeah, it felt like they kind of rushed into it. Maybe it would have been cooler if she... it wouldn't have made sense if she just come in, but yeah, never mind.
$1 billion, pretty much 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
Yeah.
4 tomatoes.
Mm.
Ooh. American. 4 out of 5 people liked it, basically. That's the bottom line.
I'm one of them.
Infinity War itself, obviously, gained all the money. 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. Liked it. And... oh, I've lost it. Where's it gone? Spider-Man Homecoming is on here somewhere. Yeah. Also $1 billion.
Homecoming?
92% Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah.
But that's 2017. Endgame was 2018,
Well,
not
this is the
2019, wasn't it?
Before Endgame, you only got 2 movies a year.
Yeah. No,
You
is
get
it?
that
I thought they wrapped up to... I don't know. I don't know, because I haven't checked this out. Yeah, go on.
And then, to be fair, I skipped Ant-Man and the Wasp. Because why did they make that movie?
Mid.
Why did they make that movie? I don't understand.
The only good one is the first Ant-Man, and it's so frustrating because they could have just kept exactly the same formula.
So sorry, I skipped Ant-Man and the Wasp just to hammer home a point. I think that was the first signal that things were going downhill, in my opinion. Felt a little bit like they were making movies for making movies' sake.
Okay.
They should have introduced the quantum zone realm, whatever it is, the time travel element, earlier. They should have introduced Captain Marvel earlier so that Endgame made sense without it feeling like you have to watch your 2 movies really quickly between Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, it felt like they had an answer. Yeah. They'd like, you know, like... Well, I suppose you'd never have done this because you're good at maths, but sometimes in maths class you copy your mate's answer and you have to figure out how they got those working, so you kind of just shove stuff in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it felt like.
It felt a little bit like that. And then obviously Endgame itself, I think it was $2 billion in the end, 94% Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it was an event. Everyone watched it. Cool. So that is pre-Endgame. Things seem to be going very, very well.
Yeah.
We're now talking after Endgame. Are you ready? So these are now the 5 most recent movies.
Right.
Movies.
Yeah.
The Marvels.
Woo!
You're not going to like this one, buddy.
Oh.
Lowest grossing Marvel movie since Phase 1.
That, right? How many adverts did you see for that movie?
I didn't see many. But it was also the writer's strike, wasn't it? So
there you go. They were not able to advertise it. And then once they finally did, it was too close to the time. And everyone was acting like it was going to be awful.
I will say something, buddy.
Go on.
You're the only person I know that liked it.
Have you seen it?
No.
If you saw it, the thing is, it's not like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with it. But just because you're saying something in opposition to everyone else, like, I like it, everyone else dislikes it, doesn't mean that I think I'm, like, the biggest fan of the Marvels. I just think, objectively, it's no worse than most of those other kind of normal Marvel movies that aren't an event.
If you say so.
It's fine, yeah.
It got 60% Rotten Tomatoes, 5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
Ant-Man 3. Ant-Man and the Quantum thing,
Mid. Hate that movie.
46% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money it made. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
There you go. Your new favourite movie of all time.
82% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Didn't get that much money. Also, I think it also deserved more. That's just me.
That was March 2023. So why would that have been? I guess it... No,
because this is what came just before it.
Right.
This is what came before it. We had Thor: Love and Thunder the year before.
Ow!
60% Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is generous.
That is a joke.
And Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which
Woo!
I quite liked. I thought it was okay.
I don't think...
It didn't get as much money as the first one and didn't get as high a score as the first one.
You know what that is?
At 80%. Why?
Begins with an R, ends in a schism. I'll tell you that right now. No, I'm joking. Because the first one obviously did so well. Yeah. I just think people didn't want to... I think people perhaps weren't that interested since Black Panther wasn't going to be in it, and it looked like there wasn't going to be a Black Panther in it.
Its job was definitely made more difficult.
But...
I'll tell you what also has happened though.
Yeah.
I don't want to interject. I think another problem with the MCUs is something that wasn't really occurring before Endgame. It's the TV shows.
Yeah.
So the TV shows before Endgame were what? Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Punisher, Iron Fist, Defenders. 4 out of those 6 are very good.
Not linked as well is the main thing.
Not linked.
Not really
You
linked.
don't have to watch them.
Yeah, you should though.
Since Endgame, so the most recent TV shows.
Oh gosh,
Loki, season 2.
terrific.
Sorry, I'm wrong. Echo.
I didn't watch Echo.
I didn't watch Echo.
I saw the clip of the fight scene between her and Daredevil, and I thought the choreography is awful. And on those street level shows, every single one of those shows you just named, one of the not the best, but one of the coolest things about them is that all of those fight scenes cater to all their different sort of powers and abilities, and they're all so good.
Bro,
Yeah.
stop saying good stuff. We're trying to say it's rubbish so we can fix it.
No, that's what I'm saying. So the ones you said from 10 years ago were amazing, but all of the fight scenes.
I thought you were saying for Echo.
Yeah, I'm saying no, bro. Like the choreography, it looks like a stage production, but not like West End.
There you go.
Yeah.
We've got What If season 2, which apparently was much worse than season 1.
I hated season 1 as well.
We've got Secret Invasion, which might have been the worst TV show I've ever watched. What? Imagine getting zero payoff from an espionage movie.
Yeah.
Moon Knight was relatively recently, apparently.
The first 3 episodes were good.
Yeah, and then the final 3 episodes were nothing. I really didn't enjoy Moon Knight in the end.
Yeah.
That's just me. And I saw the stat, and I can't re-find it, but essentially, there are twice as many hours of content in the MCU post-Endgame than there were pre-Endgame.
What else did I waste my time on? Hawkeye.
Hawkeye
was like...
mid.
Yeah, like, it was fine until... What? Kingpin. You know what I mean? They ruined my guy.
They turned him into a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, so I didn't even bother watching Echo.
You
But
look like the lazy Homer. But yeah, I think it's fair to say, just off listing the names very, very quickly, just by listening of the shows very, very quickly, you can see there's definitely a downturn. It's definitely some good stuff like sprinkled in here and there, but I think there's more bad stuff sprinkled in before Endgame. So
yeah,
it's definitely a tide change. Definitely a tide change. What is like the main issue for you? What do you think, if you could diagnose 1 or 2 main issues, what do you think they'd be?
I think they're afraid to commit one way.
Yeah, I hear that.
Because not one way, or just commit to direction or directions. Yeah, because
they kind of did it, and then
no, they didn't. Though.
And then someone
listen,
ran away from their girlfriend.
That whole Jonathan Majors thing, right? The Jonathan Majors conviction, I guess, or the sentencing. Yeah, they've had to cancel that, but one, you could just change the actor. Literally, like, every dude on the internet was just like, well, this dude has infinite versions of himself. Yeah. People
maybe
like,
he looks slightly different.
Do you know what I mean?
Maybe he looks like John Boyega in a few universes.
Why did you say? I was literally just about to laugh at the people because it's like, oh, so it's just another black guy, or it could be an Asian woman. It could literally be like, it doesn't matter. It could be anything or anyone.
They did it with Loki.
Well, they did it
with Loki.
Well, they even did it in the comics. Was it like Iron Boy or whatever?
Yeah.
So like
committing to a direction is a problem.
Yeah, they could have stuck with that, but also this was meant to be the next big thing. It's been Endgame is what? 2018? 2019? 2018. 2019. So that's 5 years ago now. Kang Dynasty was supposed to come out next summer.
Yeah.
So that was going to be 6 years between 2 Avengers movies, and we're 1 year off it, and we don't have an Avengers.
We'll come back to that, I think.
But yeah, this is what I'm saying. There's no direction because there's.
What else is a problem?
Okay,
I think that we're going to circle back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Direction.
I think is the actors as well, because they're not committing to a direction.
Okay.
Like, because they're not using big characters like Fantastic Four. You could have afforded to cast like Eben Moss cousin from the Bear. Yeah, who's the thing, right? In the grand scheme of things, him and Joseph Quinn are like relatively unknown because you don't watch Stranger Things.
No, yeah, they're relatively unknown.
Yeah, so I know him from Stranger Things, right? Uh-huh. And if I'd never seen the Bear, I would have no idea who that dude is. So like, it's okay to do that because Fantastic Four kind of markets itself because it's massive.
Yeah.
But when you've got things like, I guess the Marvels, because I really like Iman Vellani. and whoever plays
Monica.
yeah, I can't remember her name. Latoya Paris.
Don't know.
Yeah, no, that's not right. Anyway, but like they're not really big names.
Okay.
So you're doing the
Well,
Marvels. I think if you're gonna not have a direction, because if the Marvels was like, this is like them versus Kang, a version of Kang or something, or, you know, it's gonna have these other big characters in, then it's okay. But they've introduced a new villain, and it's just a continuation of Captain Marvel 1, which, as you said, a lot of people were here or there on. Some people did really like it. And also, like you said, Jonathan Majors, and I really like her, but Letitia Wright, she had that whole thing about the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
But then she was just like, I've actually done a lot of research. I've educated myself on it. That was a really stupid viewpoint. I just kept believing stuff I'd see on the internet. But it did so much damage. Like, if you were on the internet, people were like, this woman, she's indirectly killing people. Evangeline Lilly was going to anti-vax protests, and she's like,
but
she's a nutter. But she wasn't like, no, if you look at Twitter,
because she wasn't loud and proud about it, it was fine.
Well, she was posting it, but I think because Ant-Man Quantumania was further away, no one was really that fussed. And also, there's probably some other social issues in play, but that.
Yeah.
And I just think you've kind of got people now openly trashing this as an art form and saying, "Oh, this is rubbish. I'd never do that." Blah blah blah. But I think there's an opportunity to do characters who are kind of unknown, as long as the actors have enough of a draw. So, like Shang-Chi, like what's his name?
Simu Liu.
Yeah. Like, I know, because I'd never seen Kim's Convenience, but the dude who plays his dad is like a big name.
Yeah.
And and those actors are known within like Chinese cinema and stuff. So
actually, I think we're gonna come back to this.
Yeah.
One of my points about who's getting what roles as well. But yeah.
But mainly, I always think of Dune. This is like my it kind of sounds off point, but Dune is not attractive to a normal film watcher if you're not into sci-fi, but you have a bunch of young, attractive actors who are in some of your other favourite properties, and it's making young people who would never usually watch a sci-fi movie. So,
okay. So that seems like a commercial point.
Yeah, but that's part of it too.
Yeah, it's part of it. I've definitely gone from more of a quality point of view. In the sense that, like, there's just I think there's just too much. I just think there's too much, and I think it probably does come down to there not being a direction as well.
Yeah.
They're just kind of throwing a lot of stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
And actually, we have a little bit more sparsity. We'll kind of get everyone on board with sparsity. Yeah, I guess that's what it's called. You kind of get everyone on board with what the next story is going to be. But actually, I mean, it was brought up. So can I bring up my first headline kind of thing to do? This was actually something that I think I'll probably have the most disagreement with, and I might be swayed against it.
Okay.
This is meant to be my final point. I thought this had the most argument. It's not my favourite point. I don't think we should make an Avengers movie for a little while. I think it should be even longer. So essentially,
I think you should die.
So I was a little bit like really and truly, if they're not going to do Kang Dynasty now,
okay, then yeah.
If they're not going to do Kang Dynasty now, what is name me the most famous, the best Avengers storyline in the comics? What is it? Go on, read them off.
I don't know, because it's so contentious.
Alright, just read off your favourite ones.
I kind of really like Avengers versus X-Men.
Okay.
But that's the only.
Can't do that.
Oh, you mean Civil War? I think that
done it.
Bigger than Avengers.
But they've done it.
Yeah, I guess.
Secret Invasion. Done it.
Yeah, Ultron still well. Any Ultron storyline.
Done it.
Disassembled. We kind of.
Yeah, but they've kind of done that with WandaVision.
Yeah, Secret Wars.
No, that might be the only one left.
But that's way too big.
It's multiverse, isn't it?
Yeah. But they...
So I was a little bit like, there aren't actually that many great ones.
Yeah.
I'm not desperate to see another Avengers storyline yet, mainly because a lot of the characters haven't kind of grabbed me. So why don't we just do like smaller team ups like the Marvels, like Thor Ragnarok, maybe not like the Defenders, but it kind of gives you an opportunity to go a little bit deeper into like the interpersonal kind of dynamics between characters. Yeah, let's chuck Spider-Man in with the Fantastic Four as a maybe slightly longer cameo. Let's have a Daredevil Spider-Man team up movie. Let's have a Miss Marvel does a cosmic adventure with the remaining Guardians, or with Blue Marvel, or etc. etc. Like, let's just kind of like just roll two dice, see what two characters come together. Let's see if we can make a story out of it, kind of thing.
Well, I think you can. Like, there's so many comics of people. I said this to you last week about Johnny Storm and Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can pair anyone up and kind of have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of the actors they've cast are kind of charismatic, and they are kind of a similar type of vibe as one another. Can you imagine, like, imagine the story? I think I saw on Twitter, to be fair, a few weeks ago. Let's just see how Tom Holland's Spider-Man deals with John Bernthald's Punisher for half an hour. Let's see how Rocket Raccoon bounces off Brie Larson's Miss Marvel.
Well,
Captain Marvel.
This is a point I had. Back on what you said, I remember in the mid-2010s, people were like, they need to do more of these as TV shows.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, it's about direction. So if the direction's good, people will happily watch loads of that content, right? Exactly. But if the content is not related to the movies, then no one cares, right? And so I think they should do... it's not cost effective, but now this is a quality point like yours. Like one-shots, kind of like what you're saying. And so...
like a comic.
Well, yeah, because they did Werewolf by Night, but that's unrelated.
Yeah.
And they did the Marvel... They did the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
Which you quite liked.
I did, and it's fun, and it's not really... Once again, not really linked to anything. But imagine that. So you have... Instead of having to write a whole movie and waiting 3 years, and people say, well, I wanted to see this storyline, this superhero. You can have a crossover. Like you said, it could be Punisher getting ready to kill someone. Spider-Man appears. They have maybe a fight. Spider-Man webs them up. Then they have a talk, and then Punisher escapes or something. And then that's all it needs to be. But then it's an opportunity to flesh out those characters, which is kind of getting harder and harder to do the bigger the scale of these movies become. So I just think, you're right. I think it's a really good idea to do it like that, and I think people will like it more as well. So
I'll jot it down then. Smaller team ups. Avoid a big Avengers for a while.
Yeah, or alternatively, there are just other teams.
There are other teams, yeah.
At the end of the Marvels,
okay,
I'm going to tell you this because now we're talking about this. Miss Marvel goes to Kate Bishop and says she wants to make a Young Avengers team. Okay. Because she's got Nick Fury's iPad or whatever with all the young superheroes. So there's that, and then there's also... there's still the Defenders, but I don't... or you could
West
even...
Coast Avengers, street level stuff,
Or you could even do the Ultimates, which is what... Yeah, so I wasn't ignoring you on my phone. I was just trying to remember who the members were, because I know Blue Marvel's in it, so you can't really do that, but you still have, Captain Marvel, America Chavez. You could get some more cosmic level people involved with that.
Yeah. We can add them. We can add characters by that as well. So yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think the Avengers should be going off world again. I don't like that. I think they should be protecting the whole planet. Okay. And the Ultimate's job is to go out into space and do stuff. And Captain Marvel's already doing that. She's never on Earth. She's always off doing stuff. So.
Yeah, smaller team ups where it actually makes sense for them to go. What you got for us?
Well, that was my one-shot thing. Was my next part.
Oh, okay,
so I did
alright,
but I also think, sort of an aside, you do really need to watch the Marvels because something happens at the end of that movie.
Bro, just tell me.
Oh, okay.
Is it the spoiler about a certain blue character?
It's not about about that. So I could say that because the movie's 6 months old. So it's not about Beast, but the point is she rips a hole in space time and ends up in a parallel universe. with Miss Marvel's gauntlets.
Who?
All of them, all three of them,
okay.
in a fight. So the point is, I think they use the word incursion. So it looks like that's where it was going to go. I don't know if they're still going to do that, but you could still do an incursion storyline, I suppose, and then put Kang on the back burner for another time. But I don't really know. But it's just too messy, and I think...
Yeah, this is it, because that means nothing, because we just know they're going to just throw that one in the garbage as well.
Well, that's my thing. What I was going to say to you. Do you ignore it? Do you leave it as another thing ignored? Or do you just kind of charge on with it, and so you can get on to the next phase of storytelling and hopefully plan things out properly?
I really don't even know if it matters. Because with multiverse stuff, and I don't really enjoy multiverse stuff. I think it's too easy to write stuff out. Because multiverse stuff, you can just make it wherever you want it to be. And then just fix it however you want to fix it, regardless of what actually happens within the movie. So I don't know how much they went into the parallel universe they're in, what universe they're in. But I just don't think it matters. You can write a story in it. If that's the thing with multiverse stuff.
Well, I was hoping
it becomes one-shot stuff, doesn't it?
I was hoping you say that because my thing, I know we said about teams, but specifically. Lots of X-Men content, right?
All right.
Oh, is that one of yours as well?
This was my next. This is when I spent the most time.
Yeah. So, for me, I'm saying
we're gonna disagree.
I'm saying the world is safe, right? No one really knows what Kang's doing apart from Ant-Man. So maybe you can give him like a fake out. He's panicking. They try and find maybe their universe's Kang or whatever, and maybe like he's actually just not a threat. But you can make him then become one. Make him get visited by a future version of himself at a later point.
Yeah.
But, like, that is kind of like a red herring at this point. And so, there's no imminent threat to the world. All these movies are just one-offs. They contain themselves. So, you kind of take some time to then do some X-Men storytelling. Obviously, you can sprinkle other movies here or there. Introduce other characters. But, dude, the X-Men, and this is what I was saying about the actors, you make them all... Because you could still do James Marsden as Cyclops again, right?
And this is my issue with multiverse stuff, but...
But sorry, just as an example of like age, but you want to have... I like the idea of some of them being seasoned, because then they can go toe-to-toe with the Avengers or be a team that stands on their own, but also have a lot of younger people, so make a generational gap. And that's where you have... Because... that's where you have like your young, like Euphoria actors or whatever, come on in, and that's what gets people back in the cinema, because they're like, we love the X-Men movies, they haven't had the chance to mess this up. If you take some time, plan it out, and I think make it less Disney, more like the Fox ones, which is kind of weird tonally. Like,
let's do it.
You got to grapple with hard things, and I think you can do some really good spins on stuff. Like kind of social issues going on with young people at the moment, use it in X-Men, make it a bit darker.
But wokeism is what's destroying the MCU.
Wokeism, schmokeism.
You can't let the X-Men be woke. They were never woke.
I saw someone say...
For 50 years.
Yeah, I saw someone say like, they're not like... but he's like, Stan Lee only said they're like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, so he could sell his comic better.
Do me a favour.
Like, it's like...
Regardless of what they're like, the X-Men is so clearly about social issues, and I think that's where I become a little bit concerned. Because this is where we might disagree. I agree with you. X-Men has to be the staple franchise. X-Men has to be the staple franchise now. However, because I do think it does need to be less Disney-ified, and it does need to be a bit more young adult focused. And I've said this, I'm on record saying this before. The X-Men work as a separate universe. I've always hated the fact the X-Men have to share the universe with other superheroes until they start fighting each other.
Dude, I love that. Because then, in the comics it works because you have these role models who everyone looks up to, and is like an authority on like justice and everything.
Kind of. Yeah.
But then they're always fallible because they have this situation with the mutants. So you have like when things like build to a point when you realise that the mutants have actually just been putting up with this mistreatment, and really these heroes have actually been letting people down on a social level.
Which is kind of what like I think that's what Falcon and Winter Soldier tried to do.
Yeah.
And it just didn't.
I just think then my fear is that they're not going to commit to it. But if I was in charge, I would say, listen, it's not necessarily a point of taking a side politically, because you can kind of toe this in a way that it's just about people with a hesitancy to speak on politics because they don't feel like they have the authority to.
Which is what I think they did quite well in the comics, generally.
In the comic?
In the comics.
I think the movie is probably a bit more. I think the comics...
No, as in having the people like Captain America recognising that they've let the mutants down, but knowing how to rectify it. That's what I meant.
Dude, like even you don't even have to do it as they share this universe. Put them on Krakoa, like.
So yes, right. So as you wrote this down, make it Jonathan Hickman's X-Men.
Yep.
So I think that's the way in which that's the way in which you can most seamlessly get them into a universe. If they do have to share a universe, that's the way we can do it most seamlessly. I always hated when Storm, Beast, Wolverine are on the Avengers. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
It's never really made sense to me. I can kind of tolerate them being in a universe with someone like Spider-Man, who's also kind of hated a little bit because his powers are it's undisclosed how he's kind of revealed them, and you have to do a lot of mental gymnastics to say, okay, the world loves the Avengers. Maybe it's because they know their secret identities and they know where they got their powers from, but they're still wary of mutants. Maybe it's because they can be anyone and it's actually just the next step of evolution, whatever.
Well, I think there's enough characters on the Avengers that just don't have like magic, like, mutant powers, that you can just be at like, well, their powers are different. Yeah.
So these are science experiments gone wrong.
Yeah.
These are people with extra skills rather than a threat to my next door neighbour.
Exactly.
I go to school with my kids. So maybe we can try and do it like that. And I think Jonathan Hickman's X-Men, where they are physically and geographically separated from the rest of the world, kind of does that really, really well. I'd still love to see kind of like the old school stories kind of brought in. God Love Man Kills. Maybe a bit of Days of Future Past, that might be possible. But I'd say centre it around Jonathan Hickman's X-Men. I think that's the one that's got the political aspects of it quite right, as well as still being entertaining.
What I would say is that if they hadn't rammed Iron Man into the first two Spider-Man movies, I would love for his technology after he died to be used to create the Sentinels. Like, I always think that would be such a cool way of doing things in this universe, because...
Yeah, but Disney's scared of making their characters anything but White Knights, aren't they?
Yeah, they've just done too much, and I think, people don't really have flaws anymore. They just make mistakes. No. But then if you have an infallible character and then they just make a mistake and then things go wrong, then you're just like, yo, I hate this dude. I hated Spider-Man in Far From Home.
Okay.
Why are you going in? You know this dude's doing a spell and he literally says to you, okay, stop, I can't keep doing this. Like, you're going to ruin the spell. It doesn't make sense.
No, but also...
That whole movie is his own creation.
It's Doctor Strange's fault.
It's not. He literally says, I can't contain the spell. You keep saying too many things.
But Doctor Strange was told he can't do the spell, full stop.
But he could have.
No, he couldn't.
It was literally going fine. He says, Spider-Man, you changed the spell six times.
One said, this is not going to work. And Doctor Strange only went and did it so that he could say that he...
Well, there you go. Well, there's another one. Again. I mean, Doctor Strange is always meant to be too arrogant. But why is Spider-Man doing that? Because it makes him seem like an idiot. Well, this is supposed to be one of the cleverest characters.
They've also kind of like written it wrong as well. Why did they reveal his secret identity in the first place?
All of it is just... All of it is fooling. Yeah, sorry.
So, but I agree with your general point, which is like, you don't let people be infallible anymore. And that's what made Iron Man 1 really good.
Yeah. Dude, there are loads of problems.
Exactly. That's kind of what made Thor, the first one, what it was meant to be. You're meant to have growth and you're meant to have learnings from stuff, and they don't really do that in the movies anymore.
I think, for me, with X-Men, I would take a slightly different direction, because I've seen people say they should have just been on Krakoa this whole time, and that's why we haven't seen them. But I think we need to understand what it is, like how the world treats mutants and why it is they've retreated to Krakoa. Because if they've just been on there the whole time, they're basically the Morlocks. They live in a...
Like that,
yeah. It's better if they try to live in the world.
The best idea I've heard for this was Comics Explained.
Professor X has wiped everyone's mind.
Yeah, I think that's the best explanation of it. And, I mean, every X-Men storyline, every other X-Men storyline is about either Professor X has done something wrong, and then he has to try and... he tried to do something with good intentions, it's gone wrong, you have to rectify it, or Professor X is incapacitated, and they realise something he's done in the past, and they have to come to terms with it. Let's say he's knocked out, and then everyone all of a sudden remembers mutants have been here the whole time.
Well, I was going to say, what if it is that he's just getting old? This is a dude who's supposed to be on par with the dude who was alive during the Holocaust. So he's old, right?
Yeah.
So he's dying, and so his powers are waning. You got to remember what happens on Krakoa when people die, though, mate.
Okay. That's a bit messy for a movie, though.
It is, but it doesn't have to be in one movie. You could have things happening. So, like, in Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan realizes she's a mutant, right? So you could have more...
I'm saying bringing in immortality is a pretty messy thing to bring into a movie universe.
It doesn't have to be immortality, because you can stop that process whenever by destroying Krakoa. Do you know what I mean? So, like, it gives us the opportunity to bring them in, have Professor X as a senior guy, and then have him come back as a younger person, and then you can change his personality, his demeanor, and just like the shape of the team. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
And so you could, even then, if you wanted to do it multiverse casting or whatever, you could have Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, then they die, and then younger actors come in and take their place. And it could be Fassbender or McAvoy. It doesn't matter.
No. But yes.
Yeah. I'm saying it could be anyone.
It could be anyone.
And so I kind of like that. And then you can get rid of Krakoa. Maybe the government or a superhero fight destroys the island, and the people are forced back into the world. And then you can have that dynamic again. Do it in reverse.
I'm very much on board with that. You're welcome, Kevin.
Yeah, he's gonna nick this one. If this happens, if I see Austin Butler in this movie and Timothy Chalamet, I'm fuming.
So, I spent quite a little while trying to do castings for these as well. I've realised now I'm going to get ahead of this. I'm very British centric.
They got talent though.
They got it's thespians, bruv. You know I love a thespian.
We still have those guys from. I'd never watched it.
What?
But New Mutants.
I don't really want to bring them in. I don't like Anya Taylor.
She is a great actress.
Yeah, she just weirds me out. But yeah, there's a few of them there are good. A few of them there are good.
Yeah.
But they're also very like niche mutants, like Wolfsbane, Magic. Those are characters I think you should bring in later. I kind of, although I'm very much about let's do Hickman's X-Men, I still think part of me wants to focus on probably only 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
Probably the core 5 or 6.
You could have them in the background, yeah.
Except the one.
Who? If you say Wolverine.
I don't want to do Wolverine just yet.
Well, stop giving him all this fan love. Just put him in. Have him as a member of the team.
Yeah.
People love this guy up. They think he needs special treatment all the time.
But because he keeps getting that special treatment, I think it's about time we kind of like, let's just do an X-Men film without him. What was the last X-Men film about Wolverine?
The last one?
Oh yeah, Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. What's the last one people actually watched that didn't have Wolverine in it?
Apocalypse?
He's in that.
He's not.
Yes, he is.
He's not.
Yes, he is. Don't remember, they do a whole like 20-minute sequence.
Oh, yeah. Why did they do that?
So yeah,
never mind. Yeah, he's in every single one.
So it's kind of, so I'm a bit like, he wasn't on the first team.
Yeah.
He wasn't really
that first team kind of stinks though.
The first team stinks.
Yeah.
But I might sprinkle a little bit of Storm in there.
Okay.
Make it a bit more interesting. Forget Angel. My man's boring unless he's getting killed.
But it could be anyone as well.
It could be anyone.
Yeah, you could just age up people. But yeah, I get what you mean.
So
no Deadpool, by the way.
No.
Okay, cool.
So
let him do his own thing.
So let's go through my castings here.
All right.
There's a couple controversial ones.
I'm gonna pull up pictures, so keep talking to me.
Did you cast any of your X-Men? Any ideas you want to throw out there?
Bro, young, attractive, all young people love them. That's all I'm thinking.
That's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're kind of in that ballpark. Most of my actors, I think, under 40.
Right.
And they're within about a 15-year age span of one another. So you can age them down.
Yeah, okay.
Hopefully. Right, Cyclops. Rumours are Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I like that.
Dude.
I don't think Henry Cavill's either all good or all bad. I don't know if he can do the whole, I'm doing this for the best of my people, but it's gonna be unpopular.
But it gets to that. Like, that's a progression. So,
it does
like...
get to that, but he's still gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can, but maybe he can. Maybe I'm being too harsh. He's still a top actor.
The thing is, everyone knows him, but I've really only ever seen him in... Why? He's in Mission Impossible, though.
Yeah, but he's not great. Like,
we're supposed to be just a good guy, but you can see that he's kind of actually...
Yeah, but
under the
you can tell
surface.
that from the moment he was on screen.
That was the mustache's fault, but yeah.
So I've gone with Taron Egerton, potentially.
That little boy.
Is he little?
Bro, he's 5'6". That's why everyone casts him for Wolverine.
Oh right. Okay.
He's tiny.
Yeah, but Tom Cruise is also like 5'4", and he looks the same height as Henry Cavill in shots, so you can make that work. I didn't realise that. I know he keeps getting cast as Wolverine, but I think he's too good an actor for that.
Sorry, that is actually very harsh of me. He's 5'8.8", so he's 5'9".
Still quite little for you, isn't it, Mr. Giant?
Yeah, but you know, sometimes you can look at people and you say, oh, well, you can pass as tall. Yeah. I don't really know.
Well, I think my next actor...
But he could do it.
Definitely has the physicality.
Okay.
Glenn Powell. I just watched...
Yeah. Anyone But You.
I was like, I could see a little bit of Glenn Powell doing that.
Okay, yeah. He's about the right age as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attractive enough for you?
Yeah, very handsome man. Yeah.
Good. Right. Those are my only two ideas, really.
Yeah. I think Taron Egerton, like, acting-wise, personality, he could definitely do it.
I see your point about the physicality thing. I didn't realise he was that short.
Also, I even if you do British actors, I'm a fan of perhaps making some people British or European, because it's kind of weird that every single one of them are from America.
There are also two actors, one of which I'll come on to probably in my next headline point.
Okay.
It's funny that even as someone who watched the TV show before the movies and as someone who reads the comics, I now only hear them as British. Even when I'm reading their text in comics, I hear them as British.
I do think, though, Cyclops has to be American. Yeah.
Fair. Storm.
Yep.
I think everyone's going to say Lupita Nyong'o. Everyone's going to say that, right?
But she's in Black Panther.
Oh my god, yes, she is. So no one's going to say that.
Right? Oh, okay. But no, but like, I think before Black Panther, people would always fan cast her, yeah.
Kirstie Clemons, she's got that age on her side. I think she's okay as well.
From Dope, right?
Dope and...
The Flash.
Else we're in?
The Flash, yeah.
Yeah, she was... We had to watch her fall in slow motion for 15 minutes.
It was so awkward.
But I'm going to go with Michonne from The Walking Dead. Guerrero, I think it's pronounced.
Bro. She's in Black Panther.
Is she?
But she's bald. She's the head of the Dora Milaje.
Oh my days! Oh yeah.
he's lost his head here. He's kicked the mics.
Absolutely lost it. I completely forgot about that.
Every East African actor is already in Black Panther.
Oh, I messed that one up. Guess we're going with Kirstie Clemons then. You got anyone for me? Because I can't think of no one else now.
Well, I like the girl who played her in those new X-Men movies. Yeah, I don't know anything about her.
Quite like. I actually thought she did a fine enough job in some bad movies.
But it would be nice to actually get like a Kenyan or an East African person. Yeah. You keep going. I'll have a look. Yeah. See who I can think of.
What's Freema Agyeman up to at the moment?
She's to be fair, she could. I think she's Nigerian and like Iranian or something.
Yeah, I think she is. Yeah, but I haven't seen her do anything in years.
She's in Sense8. I don't know if you saw that.
Let me move on to Jean Grey then.
Okay.
She will never do it. I don't even know if she'd be a good fit. She's just one of my favourite actresses of all time. Natalie Portman would just be amazing.
Bro. She's in the Thor movies.
Oh this is the problem. MCU's taken up too... Oh, she's dead. She's dead. Give her a red wig and everyone will forget.
My thing is, like, they've got so many of these good actors, but they've just not, like... They're not
used well.
Yeah.
It's almost like...
Bro, Anthony Hopkins was in the Thor
Exactly. So there are, like, C-list actors that they've killed off very quickly, which... Again, I'll come on to later. And it's funny, sorry, the C-list actors have become the main characters and the A-list actors they did kill off quickly. So actually, I'm glad that Natalie Portman's in there because I've actually looked at now Jodie Comer or Lily James. I think Jodie Comer is probably the next big actress.
People really like Jodie Comer. I think she's a good actress. But I think she's pretty, but I don't think she's like...
pretty enough for you.
No, I don't think she's Hollywood attractive, because some people can be like, especially in Hollywood, they're so superficial. And G. Grain's supposed to be like, yeah. But I think Jodie Comer's a better actress than...
Yeah, I think so. I think Jodie Comer's one of the best around. Actually.
Yeah.
So.
Like, bro, she can just do any accent. Have you seen Killing Eve?
Yeah.
She's
I've
fantastic.
seen her do an American accent as well. She was that brilliant. So.
Yeah.
Lily James then?
I to be honest, I think either of them could work. I think Lily James kind of perhaps, I imagine, would look more like her because she's quite tall.
Yeah.
In my head, Jodie Comer's small, but I actually don't know.
No, I think she is actually small.
Yeah. I think Lily James for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate that.
Okay.
And she's around the same age as Glenn Powell as well.
I think she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beast.
Yeah. Are you doing CGI or are you doing practical?
Bit of both.
Okay.
Bit of both.
Yeah.
Let's do the transformation thing over a period of time.
I don't like that.
Let's do a mocap thing then. So it's his face, but you got to make him hairy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But you need to bulk him up then a bit. So maybe these ones won't work.
Well, you don't know that.
So I was thinking Zachary Quinto. He's a little bit older than the rest, but I think he's got that nerdy charm that could kind of work.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who else has got a nerdy charm.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Radcliffe.
That's Wolverine, mate.
Oh, okay.
People love him as Wolverine because he's small and hairy.
He's very hairy. And I think that's what I saw, the hairiness, but also the nerdy charm. And kind of fumbling over himself as he's kind of just trying to do the best he can. I can hear him doing the Beast.
What is funny is that, because I've seen Daniel Radcliffe just do some absolutely insane movies the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I sometimes forget that he can just do really nerdy as Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But he's just doing some... What was it, Swiss Army Man I saw a couple of months ago?
Wild.
Yeah, it's just nuts. You could do Paul Dano, though, as Beast as well. He could do nerdy.
Yeah.
Bit of a waste, I suppose.
There's a jawline, though.
Fair.
Paul Dano's got a bit of that feet-to-ankle syndrome about him.
Wow. But that boy can act.
He can act. Like, he's a hell of an actor.
I really like Zachary Quinto.
Okay.
Because even as Sylar, like, he's
charming.
Not even, but he's just obsessive. Like he's so smart. Like, yeah.
I was quite happy with that.
Because Beast has got to have that edge to him. Because he's got to do some nutty experiments.
He'll be like, let me kill half the population.
It's like, I'm gonna cut everyone open.
Yeah. Rogue.
Keke Palmer.
I put Keke Palmer down as well. She just is Rogue, just black, right? She's everything about Rogue we know. I did throw another one in there just as well as like an alternative. Lauren Cohan from The Walking Dead, Maggie.
Right, Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan Thee Stallion, Rogue.
I think this is purely because of the 90s cartoon and it's fried everyone's brain. Oh, no. But it's got to be like...
But can Megan Thee Stallion act?
Nah, definitely. I'm kind of joking, but even like... Because Sydney Sweeney's... She's from the South as well.
Sydney Sweeney's from Australia, bruv.
No, she's not.
Sydney Sweeney's from Australia.
She's not.
She's Australian, I swear.
Bro, she's like a cowboy. Like, she did that thing with her family. It was a Christmas thing. They were all wearing like cowboy hats and stuff. And everyone was like, oh my God, are her family Republicans? Like, is she a MAGA girl?
You know why I thought she was Australian?
Why?
Because of Anyone But You.
Is she Australian in that?
No, they're just in Australia.
Oh, right.
Also, Texas is not the same as the South, bro.
Yeah, it's in the South, though.
Kind of.
But she's wearing cowboy hats and stuff, like.
Rogan.
Oh, she's from, what, Louisiana?
Yeah, she's a, like...
Is she?
She got to be, like, Creole, Cajun...
I thought that was just
Gambit is.
Yeah.
She's from the deep South, bro.
Where's she from?
Texas.
She's got to say, what does she say? She calls everyone, I can't
Sydney
remember.
Sweeney's from as north as you can go.
Really?
Yeah, she's from Washington State.
Maybe it must be her family then, because I keep seeing people being like, "Oh, she's definitely like from the South somehow."
Yeah, that accent is from the deep South. Yeah, Mississippi,
dude. Yeah, okay, but I get what you mean. I think I think for me, I don't really care about Jean Grey because I think Jean Grey is supposed to be in my head quite meek, quite timid.
Jean Grey is nothing until she's the Phoenix, really.
Yeah, and I think that's like she's a teacher's pet. She's just girl Cyclops in my head, at least.
Cyclops is not a teacher's pet.
He is.
No, he's not.
He is.
Cyclops has taken Professor X's teachings and he's gone his own way with it.
Yeah, now
he loves Professor X.
Now,
but he
bro,
ain't a teacher's pet.
that's the last like 15, 20 years. Not even 20.
Cyclops is his best student, not a teacher's pet.
Bro, he is. Bro, think of that dynamic with Wolverine, him, and Jean Grey. He can't even fight for his girl, bruv.
That's just the
can't even fight for his girl. Cartoon.
Yeah,
X-Men 97.
Yeah, but we're going Hickman's X-Men.
Yeah. That's I get you. So
Iceman. I'm quite happy with this one.
Go on.
Stephen Yeun.
No.
Okay, why?
Stephen Yeun. That's a waste, bro.
Why?
He's too talented.
Iceman's a serious character, you know.
Yeah, but half the time he's covered in ice, bro.
Yeah, half the time.
Do you know what I get?
Acting whilst they're doing the fight scenes, are they?
You haven't seen Heartstopper, have you?
No.
There's a little dude in there. He's blonde. He's not little. He's kind of jacked. Can't remember his name. I'll get him up for you because the boy's supposed to be Wanda's son, not Wiccan. Yeah, and he's a really good actor. He's in Rocket Man as well as young Elton John.
So you want him as Iceman?
Yeah, because I always think of Iceman like is kind of younger than everyone else. Him and Rogue, but like they're so good. Yeah, well no, because Iceman's still young in the comics.
Yeah, no,
he's still younger than the rest.
He's I think he's more immature. But he was one of the first X-Men. He was, but like they've kept him young. He's not really. Yeah, I don't know if they've kept him young or just kept him immature. I genuinely don't know.
Do you know what it was? This has gone through because they brought the original X-Men team to the future, didn't they? Yeah, that's true. And I think they kept the young Iceman, but not the old one in this current run. Okay. So like I think I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's still young. He doesn't have to be a kid. This dude's like my age, but yeah. Yeah, if you're casting people in their 30s, maybe someone in like their early 20s, mid 20s, but like they're clearly really good at what they do. That's why they're kicking it with the olders. But
okay, so
immature.
What's his name?
He's called. I was
really happy with that.
He's called Nick Nelson in the show. Kit Connor is his name.
Kit Connor.
Yeah, that's him. So he's blonde.
That's not him. That's got to be AI generated. Why is he that big?
I don't know, to be honest.
Okay.
In the show, he's like
Kit
Connor. Oh, he's 19. That may be a bit young.
How are you that big at 19?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Them Hollywood steroids don't joke.
But you said
I've got an alternative as well.
Stephen Yeun.
But
Stephen Yeun's older. I think he's older than Glenn Powell.
Maybe he is, but you don't look it.
He doesn't.
And the voice in Invincible as well gives me like he knows how to do exuberance.
That is true.
So I've got an alternative as well. I don't like this one as much. Corey Hawkins, who's Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton.
I think I don't usually do this.
Okay, I know what you're gonna say. Don't let them win in case they're listening. But you're right on this particular one.
Well, they should be white.
You said it out loud.
That's not what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay.
I think it should be either a gay or a bisexual person. Because this is just because of the comics that I see the fanfare around him.
You think Corey Hawkins is scared to kiss a man?
It's not about the acting. I think it's not that he should be bisexual, but it could be an iconic person for the LGBT community. Does that make sense?
If you can think of one, you let me know.
Bro, there's those. Well, I mean, you know,
there's those.
That kid from.
Go on.
Who? I was literally Kit Connor right there.
He's bisexual.
Yeah, the Heartstopper's about these two guys coming out of the closet.
Is he bisexual?
Yeah. Bro, the whole cast go to Pride together and everything. So, yeah, and Joe, the guy who's going to be Wiccan, is also gay in real life as well. So I think that's the direction they're going to take Wiccan. But I think for this is what I'm talking about, the actors. You've got to put bums in seats. So if you cast someone and people were like, oh my gosh, I love him in Heartstopper. He's an icon. He's going to be playing a bi character, icon. I'm going to go see this.
Look at you,
do you know what I mean?
Shill for a bit of money.
No, but you think
selling your heart out.
But that's it, because but think about it, if this movie doesn't get a return, no matter how good the quality is, bro, people aren't going to watch it. Denis Villeneuve was talking about how he's never going to do another movie in another universe again because Blade Runner did badly.
Fair enough.
That movie is fantastic.
Anyway, we need to stay on task because we've been talking for an hour. This is good though. Now here's my most outlandish ones. Professor X.
You're going to say black guy, aren't you?
No. Well,
because you used to say Chiwetel
Ejiofor, and I really wanted Jeremy Irons as Magneto.
Oh,
I've always wanted that. However, I've done a little bit of thinking.
Hmm.
I've not seen either of these two be fan cast as this guy yet. This
Okay.
was the one I spent most time on.
I've never heard of those two either. That's good. Well, Jeremy.
The first one only works if Denzel Washington is his adversary. Tom Hanks is Professor X.
That's crazy.
So I struggle to think about it because in my mind he's British now.
Tom Hanks?
No, Professor X. In my mind,
Oh, right.
I hear a British voice now. I know
Yeah.
he's not, but I just hear it.
He is. I think.
Tom Hanks, it's like a meta thing as well. Tom Hanks is everything that middle America loves, right? He's the archetypal American. But he's a good person. He's a little bit of the Boy Scout, right? And that's a little bit what Professor X is. He goes at everything with innocence, doesn't he? Right?
Until Hickman's right. Yeah.
Until something comes up, right? Imagine him and Denzel Washington, Philadelphia, but reversed. Them two are arguing with each other. That would be insane. Won't happen though. It just won't happen.
No, but I get what you mean. It's got to be. I get what you mean. It's got to be two powerhouse actors.
Yeah, it's got to be a powerhouse actor.
Bro, but Denzel is Magneto.
Yeah.
But there's one key thing about Magneto.
I know. And now you've come up with the Krakoa idea. I was a little bit like, how do you tackle the Holocaust thing? But the Krakoa idea makes that work. My actual choice, I think, for Professor X, again, it's another one I've not seen fan casted, and maybe it's a little bit more difficult to hear. Ewan McGregor.
Okay. He's gonna have to. He's
just
gonna have to do his Obi-Wan voice.
I saw your eyes go. That's what I was hearing.
Yeah.
But everything he's saying is in the Obi-Wan voice, and it's very measured.
So you're saying if they came back as younger, you'd want Ewan McGregor to be?
But Ewan McGregor ain't young no more.
He's 50.
But if the rest of the cast is in their 20s, 30s, or they're meant to be in their 20s, as characters, you can play a 50-year-old Professor X.
Can he play bold?
Can you picture them as a big egghead?
Yeah.
And I can't, if I'm honest.
The thing is, I guess it's tough if you've never seen someone bold.
So that's mine. I don't know if you got anyone else.
No, I didn't really think about them. I think Professor X is kind of he's kind of important one to do because he has to have, like you said, a soft-spoken demeanor, but clearly have to be so driven underneath.
Still have an authority about him.
Yeah, like Patrick Stewart was just like unbelievable casting.
Perfect
Same
casting.
with Ian McKellen.
And
but
this is the issue. Those two are still in the zeitgeist. Right?
So you think it tried to go completely different from that?
No, because it was so right.
Because even Fassbender and McAvoy did a really good job as young versions of them.
Yeah, but they just weren't there. That's the issue, isn't it? It's just hard.
So
they were really good. They would have been perfect if they'd come before Stewart and McKellen.
You could have them dead to start off with.
Waste.
No. To start off with. And then they find a way to bring, like, with Krakoa or whatever. Because you don't need to have an introduction to those characters, because everyone knows who they are. So if the whole thing is that they're on Krakoa, and maybe things are going well...
But do they know them in the context of this universe?
Maybe not, but then you can have them referenced, and perhaps when they come back, their ideological differences start to drive a wedge between the people on Krakoa, which then could be a reason why the island gets destroyed further down the line. And that's what drives them out.
Not a bad
and
idea.
then you go back to that typical X-Men dynamic.
Not a bad idea at all. Alright. Well, in that case, have you got another point? Because I might have a natural segue. So my next headline point was, you need to get the villains right. The MCU's been going for 15 years now, and they have 2, maybe 3 good villains.
Keep them around.
And one of them, thank you, and one of them they turn into a hero. The other ones they've killed off.
You're about Loki.
Loki's where I hit. That's the only one they've done right. I didn't even really like Loki that much before
Oh,
the movies, and then he became so good in the movies they made him a hero. They kill him off too quickly. The whole point of supervillains is that they keep coming back. So, let me just... Issue is as well, right? I don't think Marvel in general has got great villains. I think Spider-Man's got great villains, but Marvel in general have probably got... I made a little bit of a list. Doctor Doom, one of my favourite villains. Magneto, probably my favourite villain. Doctor Octopus, Galactus, Kingpin, Red Skull, Ultron, the Leader. So we're getting a little bit lower down on the list here, and then we go into Spider-Man villains. We're talking Venom. We're talking Doctor Octopus. Talking Green Goblin.
The Jackal.
The Jackal, and even Sentry. Really, that's quite a difficult character to put into movies.
I think a lot. What I've noticed about is that a lot of those big villains, they do far too much damage to kind of leave them around.
Yeah.
Um,
and the idea of, if you do Magneto right, if you do Doctor Doom right, if you do Galactus correctly, they churn up questions that I don't think a Disney universe will want to have just kind of floating in the ether. Ultron they've killed, but you can always bring him back easily, and I think they probably should look to do that some way, shape or form soon. The Leader was kind of teased, but they don't want to do Hulk anymore. Looks like Galactus is on the way. We spoke about Kang. Why is he still not being used? Like, you can use him so easily. And I think again, what we also touched on a little bit earlier is you need the right actors to do it, because you need to feel the gravity of these characters, right?
Yeah, I think Galactus needs to be like a thespian. I think British dude, booming voice.
Yeah. Brian Blessed Kappa.
Do you know who I'm thinking of?
Go on.
I was along the lines of Brian Blessed. I can't remember his name. The guy from Toast of London. What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, I've not seen either of those.
You know him because he's on BBC. He's on British telly all the time, like Channel 4.
We're kind of leaning into our whole thespian love off again. Like, we love a good thespian.
But bro, this is a giant world destroying creature.
Yeah, no,
Matt Berry, this dude. You know his voice?
Oh, yes. He's usually quite comedic.
Clem Fandango.
Yeah. What's his name? Sorry, say it again.
Matt Berry.
Matt Berry. Yeah, usually comedic, but I can hear him saying something like, I can't think of a Galactus line. Right
yeah,
now, but
come to me, my older.
The ultimate nullifier.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's got iconic voice. Yeah, it can't just be a normal dude.
So you've helped me out a lot earlier. So I've also made a list of actors I think the MCU should be looking to try and use as villains.
Okay.
You're gonna tell me half of these have been used already, and I forgot about them. So
that's
help
alright.
me out here. You ready?
Yeah.
Christoph Waltz.
Yep.
He's been used.
No.
Ralph Fiennes.
Yep.
Mark Strong. Ooh.
No.
That was Shazam, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Javier Bardem.
Cool.
Has he been used?
No.
Charles Dance.
No.
Gary Oldman.
No. Gary Oldman and Charles Dance would not do that.
Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
About
Huge.
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Is that the guy from Shogun?
Yeah, guy from Shogun.
And Mortal Kombat. My personal favourite.
Vin Rames.
Okay.
No, can't see that.
He's kind of just like, because he's not really like hench like he was back in the day. He's just a big dude.
That's true.
But the voice though, could be Galactus, could be Mocha villain. Yeah.
I didn't think of that before.
Yeah.
Kenneth Branagh.
He would
Kenneth
not be
Branagh is Magneto.
That would be amazing, but he would not be seen dead in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, you chuck 50 million in, watch him change his cheek.
He's far too serious. He loves accents though.
He does love an accent. And Clancy Brown.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Another voice role.
The brother from, not Ivan Drago, Ivan Drago's son from Creed 2.
Right. Okay. He could be Colossus.
I thought of him as Colossus.
Yeah.
But yeah, he could be Apocalypse. He's big. Just
yeah.
big.
You know what? That's a good one. You could do an Apocalypse movie as well. Again.
But yeah, definitely stop killing them off.
Yep.
And you have to decide on the tone for the next 10 years. Are you going to continue being Disney, and therefore it has to be like a villain of the week type of feel? Or is it going to be a, no, they've actually made me think. Stop doing the whole, this villain's got a great point, but they do it in bad ways. Actually, maybe the bad ways justify the means now.
Or sometimes they're just villains.
Or just villains.
Like, I like that as well.
They got that right the first phase.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Like, oh, I'm greedy. Oh, I'm evil. Oh, I'm looking for revenge.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not supposed to like Loki. We might be able to feel sorry for him, but like he's just trying to take over the Earth, like in the first Avengers movie. Loki.
Oh, Loki.
Yeah.
You said Logan.
It's not like, oh, he's got good intentions. And Logan as well. Those guys are torturing kids.
Oh,
The Ravagers.
No, I thought you said you're not meant to feel sorry for Logan.
Oh, right, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah.
Same thing.
So I think maybe that could wrap us on to next week. So we kind of pitched some initial ideas, but we've got avoid Avengers movies, more focus and a clearer direction. X-Pen are going to be kind of the staple IP.
Yeah, and you've got to get them right.
And so I think, and like you said, for the next 10 years, what if next week we kind of planned out like a proper 10-year plan, specifically what movies, what's going to happen, and what's supposed to be the landscape of the MCU come 2034.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Within our little scope that we've just made now.
You can chuck some extra stuff in, but I think this has been a... Well, I like the sound of this.
We've spoken enough, really.
Yeah, we kind of honed
You
in
have to be more professional and shorter, remember?
Of course. So that's an hour 5, so we can't go any longer.
We got to go. I hope this was a much more professional episode.
Very professional.
Sorry about the logo fan. And,
I'm one fan.
And sorry that we don't have like a regular release schedule, but yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's this time next week, assumedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Till then.
See you next week.
Love.